Florie Swift would be 8 years old tomorrow, and her mother had promised her the company of 6 young friends to take dinner with her and spend the afternoon. "You may invite whom you please," Mother said. As soon as lessons were over, the girl went out, accompanied by Anne, the maid, to invite her guests. Anne thought, of course, that Florie would invite Fanny Morris, Jenny Snow, and 2 or 3 other close playmates. They lived in large houses on the next street, so Anne started to turn in that direction. "Where are you going?" asked Florie. "The people I am going to invite don't live there. Those girls have many good times." On they walked until they came to a narrow street with a not very nice appearance. "I'm going to stop here," said Florie. She opened a rickety door and began to climb the steps. Stopping at the top of the first flight, she knocked at the door on her right. "Come in," was faintly heard. Florie opened the door and found a girl about her own age sitting in a chair knitting. This was Mary Gray, the daughter of a woman who had done sewing for Florie's mother. The child was blind, but she held out her hand in the direction of Florie's voice. "Mrs. Gray," Florie said, "I came to see if you would allow Mary to have dinner with me tomorrow. It is my birthday, and Mama has promised me a little party. I will send for Mary if you are willing." "How good you are, Miss Florie," the woman replied. "My little child has but few pleasures. I know she will enjoy her visit with you." "Thank you," said Mary with a wan smile. "I'll be waiting for the party." "I will send for you, Mary, at 3 o'clock tomorrow." Bidding the mother and daughter goodbye, Florie went down the stairs and hurried along to another house nearby where a large boot hung out for a sign. Anne looked at Florie in amazement as she entered this little shop. An old man sat mending shoes, and a little lame boy propped up in a chair was trying to amuse himself with some bits of bright-coloured leather. "Well, Miss Florie," exclaimed the child, "I am so glad you've come. Those roses you sent me a few days ago were so beautiful. I kept them as long as I could." "I'm glad you like them, Jamie. I've come to invite you to dinner tomorrow, and you shall have as many roses as you can carry home." The little fellow glanced at his lame feet and then at his crutches. "Never mind, Jamie," the old shoemaker said. "I will carry you to Miss Florie's." Florie now left for another home on a side street. She stopped at the door of a shabby-looking house, which was occupied by an old woman, formerly a nurse in Florie's family. "Bless you, Miss Florie, it does me good to see your bright face," said the woman. "No one has been to read the story of the Good Shepherd since you were here, and my old eyes are of little service now. Well, Nursey, tomorrow will be my birthday, and you are to come to dinner with me. Then I'll read to you if you wish." "The precious child," said the old woman. "To think of a poor old nurse. Goodbye, Nursey, I'm not through inviting my friends yet." Beckoning to Anne, Florie walked on to a few doors further and stopped at another home. A weak-looking child, not much older than Florie, came to the door with a crying baby in her arms. "Why, Florie!" the child exclaimed. "Who ever would have thought of seeing you? Where is your mother, Amy?" "She is washing. The baby is so cross I can't do anything with him. I could not go to church last week because he was not well." "Do you think your mother will let you come and have dinner with me tomorrow? It's my birthday." By this time the woman appeared, and Florie asked, "Please, may Amy come to my house tomorrow afternoon? It will be my birthday. We are in the same Sunday school class, and I should like to have her." "Certainly, miss, I have no objections." The mother and child both seemed happier to have Florie call. "Where next?" Anne inquired. "To Mrs. White," said Florie. "I'm going to ask you to bring little deaf and dumb Tommy." Florie made her errand known to Mrs. White and left, saying, "Bring him at 3 o'clock tomorrow, please." "Now for home," said Florie. She ran to her room the moment she arrived and wrote this little note. "Florie Swift sends her compliments to Mrs. Swift and would be pleased to have her company tomorrow afternoon. Anne, please take this to Mama and wait for an answer." Anne soon returned with a small piece of paper on which was written, "Mrs. Swift accepts with pleasure the invitation for tomorrow afternoon." The next day was bright and clear, and as 3 o'clock drew near, Florie began to arrange her table for the guests on the green lawn. A large dish of strawberries stood in the centre, on one side a large cake, and on the other a plate of biscuits. A small bouquet of choice flowers stood by each plate. "Your company is coming," said Anne, who was helping Miss Florie. Sure enough, there was old Nurse with her walking stick, and Jamie on the shoemaker's back. Blind Mary was the next to come, and soon Amy and little mute Tommy appeared. Seating old Nurse in a large chair brought out especially for her, Florie put the rest of her guests on her right and left. Mary smelled the flowers and was delighted with them. Mrs. Swift now came into the yard, looking somewhat astonished at the company. She greeted each one pleasantly and sat at the head of the table. When dinner was over, Mrs. Swift invited everyone to the parlour where she played and sang for them. Each one had a bouquet to take home, and when they left they said thank you over and over. When they were alone, Mrs. Swift asked Florie why she'd invited these friends to her party. "Mother, our teacher told us last Sunday that God said, 'Feed the hungry, lead the lame and help the needy,' or something like that. Did I do right, Mother?" "Yes, daughter, I'm happy that you thought of others. He who gives to the poor lends to the Lord."